Hello, I am Senior Emma Tate Cole.
And I am A1C Kirsten Brandis.
And together we are just people that are going to bring you the Max.
Yeah, I mean, that's
kinda
not bad.
No, not. I kind of deflated there. I'm sorry. But what we're going to talk about is really exciting. It's Halloween.
It is Halloween. It's October.
It is. It's not exactly Halloween. Are you just like monkey see, monkey do type of thing? Like, oh yeah, it's Halloween. It's snowing outside. It's snowing outside.
Soon.
No. Yeah, right. So I love Halloween. I really do. I do theater, and so you get to dress up a lot, and that's just like what that holiday is all about. Do you have a costume picked?
I don't have a costume picked yet. I'm going to be in Iceland.
Oh, ouch. Why would you want to go there? But anyway, beside the point. A future top 10 list is actually going to be costumes to avoid. Maybe you should look at that one. That's not the top 10 list for today. It's going to be kind of just letting you know if you're too old to go trick-or-treating. Also, want to make sure you're safe while you do that. We have a new friend.
He's a friend in blue.
Yes. And then also you had something going on base.
Volunteer events.
That's
Community events. We've got plenty of them coming towards you.
Right. And then also a few events that are Halloween themed. So all of that and more coming your way on today's
The Max.
There it is.
Woo!
And welcome back to the newest installment of The Max. We've got a lot of things we want to talk about today, and I'm excited to bring you all the information. But before we get into the meat and potatoes, so to speak, we've got an appetizer for you, and that is a volunteer opportunity, right?
I know we're always looking for volunteer opportunities. I know our supervisor's always telling us to look for volunteer opportunities. Coming up in October, the deadline October 24th, the event October 27th, the Muscular Dystrophy Association is hosting the Capital City 2016 Executive Lockup. Now what do? The MDA is leading the fight to free individuals and the families who love them from the harm of muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other muscle debilitating diseases that take away from their quality of life. So if you want to volunteer, contact Staff Sergeant Ashley Massey. She'll have all the details for you on that great event, great volunteer opportunity.
Clearly the muscles in your mouth aren't working properly.
No, they never do.
That word was rough for you. Now you said it's the lock up, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I know, I have a personal friend actually, we just became friends, who kind of like specializes in lockup.
Yeah.
He does. Now, I mean, granted, we'll never have that happen to us, but it's Sergeant David Wise, the community police in Montgomery. And we brought him here today to talk about Halloween coming up.
Yes.
Want to make sure you're safe this Halloween. So first and foremost, thank you for being with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Now, like I said, do you go trick-or-treating? Do you have a good time?
I am 20 years old now, so I do not go trick-or-treating anymore. But I see it's a great time.
It is, provided you're safe when you do it, right?
Always.
That's right.
So what are some of your tips for us, I guess, to stay safe? Because a lot of our people here on the base actually live in the community.
Thanks so much for asking. I'm just going to go over six quick safety tips that specializes for our kids and adults that like to engage in the trick-or-treating with the kids. First off, comfy shoes, appropriate clothing and costumes. We got a lot of princesses this time of year, with the Disney characters with the dresses, and they like to wear the plastic high heels. Sometimes could cause a little bit of a safety issue with falling. Sneakers is recommended, but if they still want to wear those shoes, maybe some type of cloth or something to keep the feet from blistering and help to keep them from falling. Also, long costumes can sometimes cause some tripping hazards. So you want to kind of make sure they're, a little above the heels, some of the costumes. Weapons and props. This is Star Wars is the big thing, Pirates of the Caribbean, the Avengers. A lot of these costumes have shields and weapons. You want to make sure those props are rubber or foam where they don't cause an injury to someone.
Yeah.
Now granted, some people with the Kylo Ren costumes that are really popular, the Star Wars, some of the items light up, so you can't make them out of rubber, but you just want to kind of hold down the demonstrations they want to do with the weapons. Keep it to a minimum.
Like a circle.
You don't want to hit anybody. Yeah, so there you go. just kind of carry it and just remind them, hey, it's part of the costume, just to kind of keep injuries down. Check candy. I'm sure that you heard that from your parents growing up. I know I did. If a wrapper is open or it looks like it's not in the appropriate wrapper, let's say it's a Mike and Ike, but it's inside a Fireball candy, that's kind of a red flag. Just check the candy real good. Walking and traffic tips, common sense, reflective clothing. Nowadays kids, the Snapchat, the Instagram, the live video feeds, they kind of want to look at the phone. Sometimes when they're crossing the street and they're out walking around, you kind of want to make sure they make eye contact with the drivers and to please look both ways, left, right, forward, and constantly check as you walk across that street. Trick or treat with an adult. Under 12 years old, that's highly recommended to have some kind of adult supervision, just for safety's sake, just for those extra eyes and ears crossing the streets and going up to different houses, residents. You also want to stay in familiar areas where you mostly know the neighbors, map you out a good route, just anything to just kind of amp up the safety. And last but not least, for the drivers, very common sense. You're out there, there's kids, there's adults, there's families trick-or-treating together. Just keep a good eye out. Make sure you maybe even go about 5 miles under the speed limit. Keep a really good eye out for kids. Look both ways. Come to a complete stop at that stop sign. Even stop at the yield signs if you can.
That's fair. I'm not from California, but every now and again I've done that California roll, and I will definitely make sure that I don't do that this trick-or-treat season. All right, I'm okay with that, though. That's a lot of good information. Now, I know there may be someone that wants to ask this question. You probably get it 1,000 times a day. But there are certain people that are not too fond of those people with white faces and big red noses. And then now, social media is abuzz, or a Twitter maybe, I don't know, with all the information about different things that are going on. Are we anything to worry about, I guess, for trick-or-treat this year in Montgomery?
No, sir. No real threat of clowns in Montgomery.
Okay.
I'm happy to report.
It's like Baltimore. He just said the name that shall not be said. Oh, no, what are we going to do? That's it. But that's good. I was going to boycott McDonald's, actually, and just no Ronald McDonald. I'm not playing that game. You look friendly, but I don't know if I trust you, and now I know I can, so that makes me happy. Well, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the Max today.
It's my pleasure.
This is great information, and truly, if you ever get bored at your office, you want to come hang out, we'll find something for you to talk about, I'm sure.
Oh, that sounds great.
Thank you very much.
This was a blast. Thank you.
I'm glad. In just a few minutes, we're going to have your sports update with the boys.
I'm Senior Airman Humphreys.
And I'm Senior Airman Horton.
And this is your Maxwell Sports Update.
So you happen to watch the NFL this week?
Yeah.
Only one team, the Minnesota Vikings, are undefeated after 5 weeks. Who would have thought after Teddy Bridgewater and Adrian Peterson goes down, they'd be the only 5-0 team?
Yeah, they'd be pretty impressive so far. I was hoping my team would make it out of the week, still undefeated, but Detroit Lions, they took down my Philadelphia Eagles, and I was pretty upset.
Well, yeah, for me, the Falcons took us down and took the Broncos down, and actually, they're one of the teams in our game of the week, the Falcons at Seattle. It's going to be that high-flying Falcons offense against that Legion of Boom that everybody's talked about the last couple of years, and they're still living up to that name.
Oh, yeah, we'll see how, the Falcons' high-flying aerial attack matches up against the Legion of Boom, and that Seattle defense is definitely going to be one to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then moving on, to intramural sports here on base, our team, we played only one game last week. A few teams played two, and there was one team that didn't play any games. Well, maybe they'll get their games in this week. But we got the standings for the intramural flag football here on base. To start it off, we got two teams tied atop the standings, both 2-0. We have OSS and the Security Forces Squadron, both 2-0 to start off the season. So they're doing pretty good well so far.
Oh, yeah, we got 3 teams at 1-0 so far. We got the Med Group, we got 26 NAS, and NG 187.
And then after them, we have two teams, 500. They're both 1-1. We have AFLCMC and the Home WSA.
Yeah, then after that, we start getting into the teams that played one game last week but lost. We got 42nd Cons and the Warriors and also LRS.
All 0-1, yeah. And then after that, we have SOC and ACSC. They both lost both their games, but there's still a lot of the season left. They could turn it around and be near the top of the standings at the end of next week.
Yeah, and we also, to wrap that up, we got the only team that didn't play a game last week. That's the Marines, but they play this week, and we'll see how they fare.
Yeah, so I don't know if at the end of this season, if we're gonna get the trophy, which we might. Yeah, I think we got a pretty good squad.
Yeah,
but one thing I do know, the last wing run, WSA, we were part of the team.
Yeah, I think so. I think
we got this huge trophy right here. Just no biggie.
Yeah, no biggie.
I think I'm comfortable with this trophy.
Yeah, just a little bit of hardware just to show off. But if you would like to win this, we're going to have some details coming up about the wing run and the Commander's Challenge and, see if you guys can take home this trophy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of winners also from the last Wingman Day, and we also have this upcoming wing run. So this trophy's up for grabs, whoever wants to come and take it. So that concludes our Maxwell Sports Update, and we hope to see you guys at the next wing run.
All right, and it's time for my top 10. Today, it's the top 10 signs you're too old for trick-or-treating. Coming in at number 10, you get winded just knocking on the door. Number 9 on my list, you have to put your teeth in before eating the candy. Number 8 on the top 10 signs you're too old for trick-or-treating. You're happy to get the apples. Number 7 on my list, you ask for high-fiber candy only. And I'm sorry, I just truly am. As a side note, no relation, have you heard about the movie Constipation? You haven't? Ah, well, it hasn't come out yet. Number 6 on my list, people say, hey, nice Jagger mask, and you're not wearing one. Number 5, you spend the night asking, trick or, because you can't remember the rest. Number 4 on the top 10 signs you're too old for trick-or-treating. By the end of the night, you have a bag full of restraining orders. Oops. Number 3, you're the only superhero in the neighborhood with a walker. Now see, you could trade that in for a wheelchair, you'd be great going downhill. Number 2 on the top 10 signs you're too old for trick-or-treating. By 8:30, you're ready for... And the number 1 on the top 10 signs you're too old for trick-or-treating, without orthopedic shoes, you couldn't make it around the block. There you have it, my top 10. The top 10 signs you're too old for trick-or-treating.
Boo!
Ah!
How do you like to be scared?
Not very much.
Well, if you are not like Pollock, you're going to want to check out the haunted house trip ODR is taking to Birmingham on October 21st, 7 p.m. through, wait for it, 11:59 p.m. It's going to be a scary good time.
Now see, it can't actually go to midnight because then you turn back into a pumpkin. I want to drink your blood. That's the best Dracula I do.
You what?
Sorry, is that awkward? Did I cross a line there, co-host to co-host? But listen, there's a blood drive happening, and you know, it's Halloween, it's happening October 25th, and so I feel like Dracula should be there. I don't know if you're allowed to do costumes or not, but I'm just saying, I feel like that kind of works.
Would you be O positive or O negative about that fact?
I'm IB positive. IB positive you ain't sticking me with no needles. Ha!
But he will donate. Alabama has a ton of native owls. Now, I didn't know this when I first got here, but the Alabama Wildlife Center's Owloween is coming up October 29th.
I see what you did there.
Mountain State Park, 9:30 to 4 p.m., very kid-friendly. You get to go interact with some of Alabama's native owls up close and personal. A great event for the Halloween season.
Nice.
Halloween.
Season 1 continues October 28th.
So listen, okay, all that talk of the owls and like the nature walking thing, like I'm excited about that. But you know what it made me think of?
What?
Teenage Wasteland. Do you know who that's by?
I do.
Who's it by?
The Who.
No, the band that does Teenage Wasteland. Who's it by?
The Who.
That's what I'm saying, the band. What's their name?
The Who.
That's what I'm asking, the band that does Teenage Wasteland. If you don't know,
It's
just...
been a great episode of the Max.
I can't work like
We're
this.
glad you stuck with us.
We really are. And we've got a lot more things planned. The next episode, actually, we're going to have security forces. And because we're actually having an on-base trick-or-treating night, and I think it's happening sometime toward the end of October. But we're going to talk to them because they know more information than I do, and we'll make sure that you're safe on base as well. Also, we'll have a few more events to talk about, and a brand new top 10 coming your way.
If you want to get anything out to us, want us to get it out to Team Maxwell, you can feel free to contact us here at the below email address. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to help you out in any way we can.
Indeed we will. But between now and then...
Have a wonderful Air Force week.
And for the Max, I'm Jay Pollock. Thank you and good night.